So hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to Physics by Aryan. As you know, in a week, IIT JAM and GATE exams are coming. So most of you are preparing for that exams, and these exams are very crucial point for your career. Why I am taking this session? This session, I will discuss how you can actually very efficiently take the exams. These exams, one thing which matters is what how much you have studied, how many problems you have solved, what was the level of your education while you were doing your BSc and MSc. These things will add up, but one very important factor is how you perform on that day, because many genius students who have a very good preparation may do very bad in the exams, or many students who have not prepared that much can outperform their performance. Okay, so they can outperform according to whatever knowledge they have. So what are the things that will be a deciding factor on that day? Why I am taking that session? Because I have given almost more than 1920 all India exams in last 5 years, starting from my class 12th and then BSc and MSc. Almost all the physics examinations which you can imagine, I have given that, and I know what are all kind of things that can happen in that exam hall, and what kind of silly mistakes that can happen, what kind of different approaches you can have during the exam. And all of that information combined with the teaching experience which I have for 2 3 years, I will try to summarize it to a very short summary, so that whatever preparation you have, I don't care if you have done all the syllabus or 10% of the syllabus, if you follow these strategies, definitely your marks will improve, your approach toward this exam will improve, and effectively this can decide your fate, because these exams are very important for your future career. Okay, so today's session I have divided into few parts. Number one part will be approach towards the exam. So you are going to give the exam, but what should be the approach towards the exam? Okay, then what are the things that you need to take care before going to the exam? Okay, very technical things that you have to complete before going to the exam, and it is not about the syllabus or something, but very important tips that you need to be completed before going to exam. Then how to attempt the paper once your exam is on the screen. Then there are going to be many MCQs, MSQ, NATs. You will have a notepad, you need to use the calculator, you will have the difficult questions coming up, you will have the some easy, some moderate, some questions maybe your overall exam is hard, maybe your overall exam is very easy. What all things can happen, and how you attempt an exam, how you perform in those 3 hours. And this is going to be the most important part of the session. Then, while you are attempting the paper, there can be many silly mistakes that can happen. What are all the silly mistakes that can happen during the exam? And almost all the silly mistakes which are possible, I have seen them. So you can take the tips from me or the experience from me, and then you can avoid those silly mistakes for your examination. And in the end, once the exam is over, what should be your strategy, what should be your approach after the exam? Is it the end of the things? Like if you have done a very good exam, what should you do? If your exam was moderate or it was not good, what you should do? What is a after exam approach? Because I always used to think like that, after the exam is the main thing where you have to start. Till the exam it's okay, you have a goal, right, that you have to give this exam, but what now? Then you have many decisions to make. That is more important actually, that is more important for your life. So these five parameters we will discuss in this session. Other than that, there will be a live Q&A session in the end. If you have any questions left, I will discuss that. Along with that, I will show you the actual gate and jam exam portals, which how they are going to look like, how you can use all the features in the portal. And in the end, I will make my mock tests live. You can give the one mock test completely free on my testing portal. The paper has been designed in such a way that all the important questions that can come this year in the exams, I have thought of those, and I have tried to put them in the mock test, and all the questions are completely solved. So even if you don't know the concepts beforehand, You can just look at the solutions and complete those questions after the exam is done. So let's just begin the session with our first point, approach towards the exam. So many of you, let's say I'm discussing both GATE and IIT JAM exam here at the same time. So both of these exams can have many multiple possibilities. For IIT JAM, the maximum possibility that you can have is you can go and do integrated PhD in IISc, or you can do a MSc Physics in IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, top Indian IITs and IICs and ISers. That could be the one approach towards the exam. That I want to get into IIT Bombay, I need to perform this. Second approach can be I need to pass the exam. Okay. And then for GATE also, the similar things can be there, that I want to do MTech here, or I want to do a BARC job. So I need a very good rank under 50. And the second approach can be I need IIT, so I need 400, 500 rank. So there could be some rank in your mind which you are targeting. So what should be the approach towards the exam according to me? At this point of time, I think you should take this exam as if you only have to qualify this exam. I do not want you to think that I want to get into a top ranks. I want to get into something very fabulous. I will get under one rank. Do not write on your notebooks, I want to score all India rank one or all India rank two, something like that. Don't go for top ranks, because that will put an unnecessary pressure on you. And trust me, those ranks are not in your hand. Okay, you can go anytime well prepared, but what will happen to you in the exam hall uh, is not, everything is not in your hands. So what you should think about this exam is, this is the beginning of my growth journey. This is, I am telling to my students from long time, beginning, this is a beginning to your growth journey, to your growth journey. Okay. So most of you wouldn't have qualified any exam before this examination. So just think about it. If you qualify this exam, get a rank of 100, 1000, oh sorry, 1000 to 1500, something like this, very big rank. But still you qualify the exam and you are in the top 1000, 1500 people in all over the India, where almost 18, 20,000 people has given the exam, and all of them from very good institutions, Delhi University, Banaras Hindu University, so on and so forth. Maybe many people who were taking the drop and giving the exam, and you were able to qualify this exam for the very first time in your life. You have qualified any good exam at a good rank, which is of all India. So this will give you the push that you need in your life. Then the next exam that you will give, you will, by inherently you will have that, you will not fall below that rank, whatever exam you give in physics. Okay, if you go for just, then you will see that okay, your performance is getting little better. Then another exam, your performance will be more better. And if your luck will be good and everything will be good, in this exam only you will get under 200, 300, under 100 ranks. That is also possible, but that should not be your approach at this point of time. These kind of approaches are good when you are beginning to prepare for the next year. For, let's say you have some exam for the next year, then it is good to prepare like that. But at this point of time, your idea should be kahin to ho jaye, something, something kuch ho jaye, my exam should get qualified. Number one should be, this should be your priority. If you go like this, a lot of pressure will be reduced. Second, do not quit. Many people at this point of time think that okay, this year my preparation is not good, because some people have inherent habit of uh, taking the drop. They want to take the drop, they think time is less. The exams are never about the time. Okay, it is always about your attitude towards the exam. Even if you take 1 year drop and then give the exam, there is no guarantee that you will qualify the exam. Okay, and it is going to be more difficult, because then you will have nothing else to do. That is a very separate issue. But do not quit, keep preparing. Whatever, let's say there is only 1 week left, still prepare for this exam. Let's say you haven't prepared anything till now, still try to prepare. That is an attitude that you have to develop. This kind of attitude, let's say in 1 week you can score 15 marks, and some knowledge you already had, and still you are able to do 30 marks in the exam. That is going to give you a push in the life that you will never look back in your life. So keep preparing till the end, last moment, until unless exam does not happen. Keep preparing, keep thinking, keep doing the things, haath pair marte raho till the end of the time. Do not quit till the exam. Do not think about after exam. Do not think about next year. Nothing. No drop, no CUET, no jest, nothing to think about right now. Only focus is jam or gate. I will think about what will happen after this, after my exam is over, not before. So this is the overall approach towards the exam. So any questions towards approach towards the exam, if you have anything, or you disagree or agree with me in on anything, very quickly. Okay, all understood, सबको समझ आया. This is my suggestions. You can be completely different. I don't care. I means it's up to your choice actually. But my experience says if you put too much pressure on the exam, it never gives you a good results. So when I qualified my IIT jam, and I got into IIT Delhi, which could be the dream for many of you sitting here. Was never thinking. I had the dream of going to IIT Delhi, but I was never thinking that I will be able to qualify. I never had that confidence in me that yes, actually I will be able to qualify. Why? Because I had never qualified the exam, and I was just going for the exam in approach that from here on I will begin my qualifying journey. I will keep qualifying the exams from now on. Because before that, I had faced so many failures. Every exam I gave, I was not able to qualify. TIFR, IIT JEE, so many exams I gave, I was not able to qualify. But from the IIT JAM, where I begin my journey, after on, then there was no exam which I was not able to qualify. Okay. So this is how you should begin, at least begin your journey from this exam. Okay. So now let's move to the second thing. So if first thing is clear to everyone, I hope you will take this thing in mind. Okay. And second thing is things to take care before the exam. Now there are still 7 days, and trust me, 7 days, I think it's too much time. Still, if you will go to the level of IITs and IASCs, you will realize that people are doing so many things in 7 days that you can't even imagine. 7 days is too big time. What you can do in these 7 days? In these 7 days, number one thing that every student has to do, one at least, and which I will provide you also, one 3 hour test. If you have given 3 hour test already, 3 hour test means you have to sit 3 hours. It does not mean that your exam get done in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, or you have given many mock tests. Doesn't matter. You have to sit for 3 hours. It needs not to be at the same time as the gate. There is no such requirements. Just sit for 3 hours in a comfortable position where you can sit for 3 hours any time of the day, where when no one disturbs you, and sit for 3 hours and do whatever you can do. There will be give one mock test, actually one mock test. Give the mock test. If you are a gate student, give the mock test of the gate. If you are a jam student, give the mock test of a jam, and sit for 3 hours. It's when I'm saying sit for 3 hours, that is the more important part. Do not score 15 marks, 30 marks, 40 marks, 50 marks, 60 marks. That does not matter. What marks you are scoring does not matter. But sitting for 3 hours is the more important fact. Then you will actually know that what all things can happen in the exam. You will have a very clear, very literal idea that these are the things that can happen in the exam. In very first half an hour, how you will be nervous. Then in next 1 hour, how your brain will be so frustrated. Then by the end of the exam, how you will be hoping that exam should get over, but still you have to perform at the best efficiency. You cannot quit in between the exam. All kind of feelings will go on, and you will survive those feelings and perform the best, and by the end you will get some score which does not matter, which does not matter. But sitting for 3 hours, if you woke up from your seat even for 1 minute, then the entire purpose is defeated. You have to decide a 3 hours where you will lock yourself and sit for 3 hours. That is very important for your preparation. Nothing else is needed before the exam. Okay. Few very basic things other than this. Second, let's say you have studied something. Okay, you have studied something. So the best idea is revise that. Do not leave anything that you have studied and you do not revise that. Let's say in the entire syllabus, look at the syllabus. If you have studied anything ever before and you have notes available for that, or exact book and exact chapter number, you know that you have studied it, then please revise that. Instead of going for the new topics or the new questions or something like that, try to see those topics which you have already studied. Most of the students, what they do is they actually leave those topics which they have already studied, and they waste on their time which they have spent on before. So sit down today, should sit down, look at the syllabus today, and think about each and every topic. Let's say first topic that will pop up is vector algebra and vector calculus. Think, have you ever studied vector algebra and vector calculus? Where you have studied? Here I have studied. What were the topics you studied? Just revise them, all the formulas. Okay, don't go in so much deep that I will complete all the PYQs, I will do all of this, and then I will move to the next topic. No, just sit down. Whatever you have studied, revise that. More important part is revise of the things that you have already studied. Do not miss even a single word that is in your brain, but you do not revise, and there is no use of that information. Third thing, as I have already mentioned, I will show you the actual gate and jam portal, how they looks, but you also have to look at by yourself. Spend some time on the portal. Look at the portal of IIT Jam if you're a Jam student, or Gate if you're a Gate student, where the calculator is, where, how to move between the questions, what are all the instructions that will come, how all the every feature is where on the screen. Look at that, have a look at that, because that will make you comfortable in the exam. You don't want to go there and find out the new things. You are not an explorer. Exam is about complete planning and strategy. So have a look at that, where everything is. If you can actually do these three things, 1 hour, 3 hour, 1 3 hour test, revise all the topics that you have already done, and third, looking at the portal of IIT Jam or Gate, then I think these are the only three things that you need before the exam in 1 week that you can do. And 1 week is quite enough time to do all these things. You don't need more, you don't need less. Okay. Then before I move to next topic, which is how to attempt the paper, which is the most important part of the session. If you have any questions till now, please ask me.
भैया
Yes.
रिवीजन में टाइम ज़्यादा लग रहा है थोड़ा मतलब स्लो
Okay. So for that, let's say you are doing the revision, but it is taking more than expected. Then you have more number of to-do list in each and every revision. Then you are doing so many things. So when you are revising, make sure that revision includes all the formula you have studied and all the concept you have studied, overview of that, recap of that. It does not involve the formula making right now or making the short notes or anything. Do not do that because you don't have time. Just a one page you can note down, nothing more than that. Then it only involves PYQ solutions of that exam only. If you are doing gate, then gate only. If you are a gate student thinking I will do gate questions also, net questions also, just questions also, it will confuse you. So if you are revising for any topic, just gate questions. That's it. And whatever you have studied, already studied, revision means recapping that only. Revision does not means that I will study that also, those also, those also, that also. If there is some very small gap in between that you can cover, that is okay. So these two things you should revise in a topic. No assignment, nothing else should be the part of your revision. Do not do any assignment or do not revise any assignment at this point of time. Just revise PYQs and the formulas which you have already studied, or the concepts or the book chapter or the notes which you have already studied. That's only two things. Do not go beyond this. Okay. This will take less time.
नमस्ते भैया।
या सुन पा रहे?
Yes, yes, I'm Amer.
या जब मैं एकदम मॉक टेस्ट देता हूँ ना, तो मेरा
Yes.
दिमाग बहुत नेगेटिव एक जोन में चला जाता है। भैया इसको कैसे ओवरकम करूँ?
Okay. So do not associate yourself with the results while you're giving the mock test. Okay. Do not associate. Think that you're doing the practice. When you sit in the mock test, do not think that whatever will happen in the mock test will be repeated in the exam. Think that you are going to swim in a river, but you are trying to practice to swim in the sea, which is much more tough. So what will happen here? Much less worse things will happen in the actual exam. So make the worst mistakes in your mock test, and trust me, much less worse things are going to happen in the actual exam. Do not associate mock test with the actual results. If you are scoring, I never scored more than 30 marks while I was giving the mock test for the jam, but my actual marks were more than 55. So no one can predict it. More 25 plus marks I scored, which I was scoring in the mock tests. So mock test is not a reflection of what is going to happen in the actual exam. It is a practice of sitting for 3 hours. That is what you should practice. Does not matter what you did in that 3 hours. You got negative, you did badly, you did badly before the exam. Because you know these things happen. You have to feel it before the exam. That's what I'm saying. So many negative feelings will come. Just feel those and keep sitting for 3 hours. Do not get up. If you don't get up, your brain will force you to solve the questions. Our brain is built like that. If you just only work you have is sit for 3 hours, just that's it. If you do that, all other things will be taken care of. Does not matter what you have done in those 3 hours. Trust me, if you sit for 3 hours, all done, your exam will be good. Okay, this is what my suggestion is. Feel all the emotions that is coming. Any other question?
भैया, how to avoid negative marking?
How to?
Avoid negative marking.
Okay, so that comes to how to attempt the paper. So we will discuss that now. Okay, so let's go to there. So things you have to cover before and what should be your approach is done. So now how to attempt the paper. That is extremely important. That is where my expertise is. Okay, how to attempt it. So let's discuss both jam and gate together, and I will give a very specific suggestions to both kind of students in the one session. Okay, so now very first thing is which I say, when you go to the exam hall, go with a very calm head. You will be very anxious, so much so forth. Go there, just think about that day beforehand. Do not just wake up and go there. Just think about a little bit about that day, that you what are the things you need, so that if you do not miss anything, it should not happen that you have not taken your original Aadhaar card with you or something like that, and then you are running at that time. So don't do those things. Think about that day, what are all the things that you need and what clothes you will wear and everything. Just for half an hour, think all these things and get this done. Pen, everything that you need. Okay, don't take too much stuff with you. Pencil, scale, these things you won't need it. Only 2 pens are enough. And then go for the exam. When you are sitting 15 minutes before, what I did, I used to do, I still do this. 15 minutes before the beginning of the exam, I go to the washroom, because I know in the exam it is going to bug me. So 15 minutes before the exam starts, when all the formalities are done and I am on my seat, I go for washroom, I drink some water, come back, and that's it. I do not carry any water or anything with me. That's it. And then read all the instructions very well. Anyway, you know the instructions, but still read that, because that will keep your mind busy and you will not get the anxious. Now let's say your exam begins. Now you are on the seat, your exam begins. So now let's discuss first about jam. So gate students, you can also listen, but it will not be that helpful for you. And then I will come to the gate. So now let's say you are a jam student and your exam begins. Every student will do the exam in the correct sequence, 1 to 60. If you have already mastered any other sequence, that's okay. That's your choice. But if you do not have any sequence right now, I will suggest 1 to 60. Go from question number 1 and go till question number 60. Part A will have the 10 very simple MCQs. Each question, your approach should be, do I know this question? So let's say question number 1 comes in a very 10 seconds, very first 10 seconds, you will know from which part of the syllabus this question has came. Number one identification is which part of the syllabus this question has came. Let's say first question is from thermodynamics, first law of thermodynamics. Okay, you know that you have identified this. Second, if you know this topic, you will be very happy. If you don't know this topic, you will be very sad. Do not let those feelings come your way. Read the question very properly. Read the question. Are you able to think? Your brain is giving you some signal. If yes, your brain is giving you some signal that okay, this should be the approach, do this, find this, do this, do this, find this, find this, and then keep doing it and solve the question. If your brain is giving you no signal, just leave that question entirely. If your brain is confused, totally confused, your brain is giving you no engineering, okay, no method, no rule or nothing your brain is able to come up with, leave that question entirely. If your brain is giving you lot of ideas, attempt those questions. And if you are not very sure, you know that this can be done like this, but you are not very sure, go for the review. This is a very thin line, and this thin line decides your selection. There is a thin line between I know this question and I am not very sure about this question. There is a very thin line. People usually cross this line in the exam for many questions, and then there is a shortage of time. So you have to understand, if this thin line, never cross this. If you are not sure, mark this question for review in the first time and then move forward. If you think that you are getting so much ideas about this question, only then attempt this. Or you have seen such questions before, or you know, let's say there is a question on electromagnetism, right? You know how to use Gauss law and the question is from Gauss law. You have solved many Gauss law questions before, and then go for it, try for it. If you actually comes to some problem, try to identify. Let's say you are solving the question and there is some problem, you exactly know why I'm not able to move forward. You exactly know, okay, I have done the Gauss law, but I have never seen the dependence of charge density, let's say, on theta. My charge density is dependent on theta. I have never seen such question. You exactly know this problem. Do not move forward. Leave the question right and then and there. Leave the question there. Once you identify, okay, this is a problem because of which I'm not able to move forward, leave the question then and there. So what are all three things which can happen? Number one, many ideas are coming. Many ideas are coming. When you see the question, many ideas are coming. Solve it. You solve the question. Okay. So next step is you try to solve the question. Now, while solving the question, what things will happen? Successful. You successfully solve the question and you get the marks. Then second, problem. In between the question, you see that, okay, there is some problem I'm not able to solve. What kind of problems that can come? Just try to think what the kind of problems that can come. Number one, forgetting formula. Okay, forgetting formula. You forgot the formula. Second, there is something very specific to this question which you have not seen. There is the question as such seems simple, but there is some technical thing in that. As I mentioned, your charge density depends upon theta, which has never come in jam before, but this year came. But looking at it, it seems very simple. You are given some rho, let's say e raised to power iota theta, and you are asked to find the electric field, and you know you only need to apply the formula E del dot E rho by epsilon naught. But you now identify, okay, there is something and I'm not able to identify that what is del dot E. What is the formula for del dot E if there is a dependence on theta? I'm not able to identify that. So then what can be happen? Forgetting the formula, or then some advanced concept is there which you don't know, which you don't know. These are the two problems, more or less, which can come in the exam. Other than that, it many things can happen, but more or less under these two broad categories it will fall. Now, if it is about the advanced concept, leave this question entirely. Do not come back to it. Even for review, do not put this question to review. Okay, move forward. No review or anything. Forgetting formula. Let's say you are forgetting the formula. Then there are two things which will be very helpful. Number one, reading the options. If you read the options and specifically see the units or maybe see the parameters which are given to you, then you can predict some things. Let's say your electric field depends upon r 1 by r square, or some kind of these informations will be available in the question. So try to think and try to construct the formula then and there. Okay, even if you forget the formula, do not keep beating yourself. What happens when you forget the formula? Your brain says, देखा मैंने बोला था ना कि इसको रिवाइज कर ले, तूने नहीं किया उस दिन, आ गया ना क्वेश्चन. So this is how our brain works. Do not get into that in the exam. What you do, try to construct the formula then and there if you can do in 1 or 2 minutes. If not, leave the question, and then you should exactly know that why I left the question. I left the question because I forgot the formula. No need to beat, because why leaving that question is helpful, because you can remember this formula only by two ways. Number one way, looking at the question very carefully and looking at the graph if it is given, by looking at the options if it is MCQ. One way of remembering the formula is this. Second way, do the entire exam. Okay, what will happen? Maybe similar concept or similar formula is given in the question itself in some other question, right? It is also possible, right? You are doing the MSQ, right? And then four options are there. In that four options, it is asked, is this formula correct? And that was the formula that you need. For example, this has happened in 2020. If you go and see the JAM exam, there was one question on continuity theorem in electrodynamics. And then similar kind of option, continuity theorem, was given in the MSQ also. So you can check this. So by doing an entire paper, that formula may be available in some form or other. Some maybe not directly, but some indirect information may be available there. And once you have that formula already in, you know that I need this formula, and then you are solving all other questions, it is possible that that formula will come back to you. So only these two ways are there in which you can actually retrieve the formula back from your brain. So in these situations, you should put this question for review. Okay, for review. And if you think because of this very specific technical problem I'm not able to go forward, leave that question. There is nothing is there that you should come back and solve this. Try to solve this problem. It will waste more of your time. And let's say you are success. This was about the problems. Okay, then there is a success. Now success can also be a problem for you. Let's say you attempted the question and you solved it and you got the answer. Now let's say you are solving MCQ. You got the option A as a correct. Before putting A as correct, you have to think why B is wrong, why C is wrong, why D is wrong. Okay, why A, B, C, D are wrong, and whatever units are mentioned in the question. Okay, centimeter square, or let's say sometimes what happen is you are only focusing on the absolute values of the number and you are not taking care of it is Kelvin raised to 4 or Kelvin raised to square, but a lot of information is stored in this. Okay, you may make a mistake in this. You sometimes we think when there are a lot of ideas, we think that this question is exactly like that, which I have done in the pre-IQ, but sometimes that is not what they have asked. We are prejudiced that this question is that kind of question, but in reality it is not that question actually. So you have to take care of each and every sign. You have to match, you have to tick mark each and everything in the question. Okay, if entropy is positive, your answer you are getting enthalpy or something like that. your internal energy is negative, you should think, okay, internal energy should be negative, right? This question is this, so it is expanding, so entropy should increase, so I am getting the good answer. All the tick marks should be there, and whatever options you are not ticking correct, you should think that, okay, this is wrong and why this is wrong. Because I'm getting 2000, that's why 4000 is wrong. Is there any multiplication sign of 2 which I missed? No. Then only tick, only then mark, because you won't have the time to come back to each question and recheck again. Check the question at the end of each question. Okay. If you are doing NAT, okay, I will come to NAT and MSQ later, but this is how you should see your success in the question. Rechecking each and everything and eliminating all other options, why those are wrong, even if you are getting a very correct answer. Okay. Now, this was the first thing, that many ideas are coming to your brain. Now comes, no idea is coming to your brain. You are completely blank about the question. Do not waste more than 15-20 seconds on such questions and move forward. Completely leave that question. I tell you why. What will make your selection? What will make you give you the good rank? Only two things: time and the correct options. How many correct questions you did, and how much time you saved. Time is much important than marks in the exam. How? Let's say in JAM there are 60 questions, right? So let's say you do not know 15 questions. Completely you don't know. Everyone will not know 15 questions. There is not even a single individual sitting here who will be able to solve more than 45 questions. Not even a single person. So all of you will not know at least 15 questions. Now your selection is decided in how much less time you left these 15 questions. Did you spend 45 minutes on leaving these questions, or did you spend 10 minutes in leaving these questions? You have to leave these questions in less than 15 minutes. If you can leave these questions in less than 15 minutes, you actually saved 30 minutes, because technically each question carry 3 minutes in JAM exam. So total 180 minutes, each carry 3 minutes. So 15 questions carry 45 minutes. If you actually keep on trying on each question and then leaving the question, then you are not able to solve 15 question. Also, you wasted 45 minutes. But if you are not able to solve the question and you are able to accept that fact that I do not able know this question and move on, that is very hard part. Moving on is very hard part in the question. If you can actually do this, leave these 15-20 questions in only 15 minutes, then you actually saved 30 minutes, which will be the deciding factor for your exam. You will get a good rank only by leaving the questions. These 30 minutes will convert into at least 5-7 marks. At least, I'm saying, even if you don't know anything, at least these 30 minutes will translate into 5-7 marks. Okay. So remember this. So which question you don't know, in which you are getting no idea, please leave those questions. Do not try to do very innovative questions. In exam, there will be many innovative questions. Let's say there is a, when power series is given and they are saying what will be the convergence of radius. You have never seen the formula, you don't know anything. Still you are trying to do. No, please. No, this question is not for you. Okay, leave that. Leave that. If you have no idea, leave that. You can easily leave 20 questions. If you can easily leave 20 questions and save the 60 minutes for yourself, or 50 minutes for yourself, you are already a winner. You don't have to do all those 20 questions. Now there is a very thin line here. Then there is a come that confusing questions. You don't know if you know these questions or don't know these questions. Okay. In these questions, what I will suggest you is, if you are able to begin these questions, then have the beginning. Have the beginning, but keep in mind that at each and every step, you keep on evaluating yourself. Okay, let's say you don't know that I will be able to solve this question or not, or what is my feeling about that. Just stay there. Do not move your pen. Do not move your copy. Keep staring at the screen and think of the beginning. How you will begin this question. How the solution will begin. And just look at the options, look at the graphs available, look at the diagrams available, think about the physics problem which is involved here. And then if you're able to begin this problem, then again you will fall in this category. Either you will be success or you will fall into some problem. And then you know what to do. And but if you're not able to begin, then do not mark these questions for review, because you are not able to begin itself. Okay, then if you're not able to begin only, then you probably don't know it. Okay, then don't try to do so many things just to get the beginning. Okay, we try so many things just to get the beginning. That's a wrong thing, actually. Wrong thing. You are writing the formula, okay, and then thinking what will happen. Do not write unnecessary formulas until unless you don't know it. Let's say there is some Fourier question, okay, and you start writing the formula a naught equals to 1 by 2 pi, okay, f x sine x and something like that. Do not write the formulas. Do not write the formulas. Think about the formula if you have to think. Okay, do not try to get the beginnings. If you are naturally getting the beginning of the question, then it means you are lying on the this side of it. So if this is a thin line, okay, this is a thin line. One side is maybe you know, and second, don't know. And if you are able to naturally get the beginning, then you lie on this side. Then, and like any individual, these can happen that maybe you will fall into some problem while solving the question, or maybe you will successfully be able to solve the question. Then you know how to deal it. But if you are not naturally able to begin the question, I will suggest leave it. And do not put so many questions for review that in the end you don't know where to begin in the review questions. Never put more than 10 questions for review. Okay, in the end you will have hardly 25-30 minutes. If you're very good, 20-25-30 minutes will be there for you. My personal thing is at about 2 hours 32 minutes, you can check this. I have checked this in so many exams. I can challenge you, at about 2 hours 32 minutes your exam will be done. You can check this number. This number is very, you cannot defeat me in this number. This is the exact number. 2 hours 32 minutes your exam will be over. You will have 28 minutes in your hand. If you have at least 20 questions marked, then you are gone. You're gone. You can't even begin. Then your brain again have 20 questions to process in 28 minutes. But the 10 questions can be processed in 28 minutes. And in out of those 10 questions, I can give you the guarantee at least 5 questions you will come to some answer. You will definitely come to some answer. And this will increase at least not more, if at least 7 to 10 marks. At least. Minimum, I'm telling 7 to 10 marks will be increased at least if you do this technique. Okay, so understood till here? Everything, everyone is on with me? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, भैया.
Everyone say yes, no. Are you with me?
Yes, bhaiya.
Yes, sir.
Getting the idea? What are the things? Are you able to feel yourself in the exam hall now? This is what my aim is. Okay, so let's say this happened. Now there is 1, 2, 3 more things that are still left to discuss in exam taking only. NAT and MSQ, very tricky, very tricky. So NAT and MSQ. Okay, before coming to this, let's divide the timing for the jam. Let's divide the timing for the jam. You should have at least some milestones, some goals that you have to take care of them. For example, first 10 questions carry 10 marks. Okay, so you should not give 30 minutes to this. Okay, only 10 marks is this. So it should be done in 18 to 20 minutes. So if you are able to solve all 10 questions, then giving 30 minutes is okay. But if you are only scoring 5 questions and still giving 30 minutes, that is not okay. Okay, ultimate goal should be within less than 20-25 minutes, your first part should be done. Okay, but if you are able to solve all 10 questions, then going to 30 minutes won't hurt you. Then next step, In MCQ, people waste most of the time. You should have a very strict timing limit that after every 5 questions, I will evaluate my timing. So every 5 questions means 15 minutes. Okay. If you are leaving the questions, then good. If you're solving the questions, make sure that you are under the scheme. Let's say you did 11 to 15 questions in 10 minutes because you left 2 3 questions. Okay. Then you did 16 to 20 questions. Now you know you have 20 minutes. So try to do these 5 questions in 20 minutes. Even if you are able to solve all the questions, still try to do in 20 minutes only. Do not exceed that, so that overall you are in 30 minutes. So after every 5 questions, after every 15 minutes, evaluate yourself. Not very big, just look at the clock and see where are you, and do you need to push, and do you not good. It Your brain will automatically take care of everything. If you have done one mock test of 3 hours, and second, if you're looking at the clock, just look at the clock, see the time, that's it. Your brain will automatically reconfigure itself and do everything for you. You don't have to worry. Your brain is so much powerful. You should know that. But you should have some program given to your brain that this is what we are looking for. 15 minutes every 5 questions, that should be the program that you should give to the brain, so that your brain know how to reconfigure. If you're thinking that okay, you make the program also for yourself and then reconfigure also, then your brain will do nothing. This is a planning which I'm giving you. 5 minutes, this is a programming you have to give. 5 questions, 15 minutes after every, then your brain will readjust. Okay, in last 5 questions we saved 5 minutes, so in this 5 questions we have extra 5 minutes. So if we are solving the questions, we can keep solving. We don't have to panic. Okay, yeah, then your panic mode will not be triggered. Okay, then if you keep solving the question, you will stay happy. Your panic mode will still be not be triggered. Let's say you're not able to solve the questions and you leave those 5 questions in 5 minutes, still your trigger mode will your panic will not be triggered. You left 5 questions in a row, still your brain will say okay, don't worry, we missed the 5 questions but we saved 10 minutes, so you should be happy. So you will be your brain will keep you happy and you will keep moving forward in the exam. So you are actually looking at both the parameters as a factor of happiness, marks also and time also. So this is the right way of looking into the exam. You should look happiness in both saving the time and both in getting the marks also. So both factors should give you happiness. That's why your brain should be very well programmed for this. Marks are in not your hand. You will be able to solve the question or not, very much less in your hand. Okay, it depends on what kind of paper it comes. So go from question 1 to 60 in this sequence only. 5 questions, 30 minutes. And ultimately what will happen is you will save so much time in doing these 5 questions. 2 hours 32 minutes, your exam will be done. Okay. In this much time, your exam will be done, and then you can go back to your review questions. Okay. Do not try to go to review questions in between. If you're getting a very solid idea that okay, oh, I got the formula, then only go back. Otherwise do not try to go back because your brain is forcing you, because brain will say you so many things. Okay, it will say I have already left these 5 questions, let's try to go back to that question and try to do that again. Do not do. Keep moving forward, keep solving all 60 questions. Then in the end there should be 10 questions which are for the review. Solve those 10 questions only, come out of the exam. Does not matter if you get 5 marks, 10 marks, 15 marks or 100 marks. You have done the exam. This is what you are going for. You are not going with any target. Do not ask anyone what should be the marks for IIT Delhi, what should be the marks for IIT Bombay, what should be the marks for this, that, this is my target. You have no target. Target is decided by the teachers, by the people who are putting the exam. Let's say they put a very difficult exam and the targets fall down to 30. What you will do? What you will do? You will say, okay, I'm not able to get 55, but that year people got IIT Delhi at 30 marks. So what you will do? So your goal should be at each and every question, implement this program. That's it. Implement this program, and after the exam, you should evaluate and what kind of marks I have done, what is the overall people are saying or some. I never do that. If you want, you can do, but after exam, do all these things if you want. Okay. Now let's come to NAT and MSQ. So in MSQ, there are few kind of MSQ which comes. Number one MSQ, complementary options. complementary options. So if A is correct, C will be correct. If B is correct, D will be correct. So either option AC is correct or BD is correct. You can sense this. You can actually sense this in the MSQ options, right? Either A or C are complementary to each other, or B and D are complementary to each other. How do you sense it? You see one parameter is positive, and if one is positive, other should be negative. So if A is correct, C should be correct, and if B is correct, D should be correct. So these are complementary options. So in this kind of questions, usually only two options are correct, and you should remember that even if you get one of them right, then second you already know, and other two you know should be left. Okay, so look for this. Is this a complementary kind of MSQ? Look at the options. The answer of MSQ questions are on your screen. You only have to look it because all four options are there. You only have to look at the answer. Okay. Even if you have to solve it, the solution of the answer is given on your screen. First, play with the options in MSQ. Okay. Then there is one kind of question in which three options out of three options, let's say A, B, and C, either one will be correct or two will be correct. One or two. And then you have to put an extra brain for option D. Okay. Extra brain for option D. A, B, C options will be look like, will be connected with each other, and D will be completely different. So you have to think for D. So my idea is if already two are correct, okay, let's not do this, but D option, what you should do is actually very analytically think that is this correct or wrong? Is this correct or wrong? Because ABC will be connected to each other, but D will be quite different. You have to think, like, for example, they gave you radius formula for nucleus, right? In option A, they asked you density. In option B, they asked you about nuclear charge. In C, they asked you about the volume or something like that. And in D, they asked this, what is the origin of nuclear force? So option A, B, C were connected to the formula, but option D, it's completely theoretical. So until read the question and first solve this D option. Are you able to see this D? Because if you make this D wrong, then ABC will be useless. So get this D first, and then ABC you can decide one is correct, two is correct, or all three are correct. Okay. So these are the second type of questions. In third type of questions, what will happen is either all four can be correct or only one will be correct. This is also possible. But this is very unlikely. So whenever you only mark one option in MSQ correct, think very carefully what I am doing is right or wrong. Okay. If you are not sure, put that for the review. Never put any question for review if you think that I will not be able to go beyond this. This is beyond my knowledge. Okay, if something is beyond your knowledge, do not put for mark for review just to give your brain a satisfaction that I have not left this question, but I'm going to come back to this question. Do not procrastinate in the exam. Okay, do not give your brain a fake pleasure. Okay, all is well, all is well. Do not say to your brain, okay, I do not know this question, this is beyond my limit, so I'm going to put a tukka on this question. Because MSQ has no negative marking, you can put tukka. Just put the tukka and move forward. That is much better for your brain rather than you are saying I will come back, because coming back will not help you. It is beyond your knowledge. If you don't know the origin of the nuclear force, then option D is beyond your knowledge. Then you can just put a tukka. How you can make a tukka? If already two options are correct, you can say, okay, I think D will not be correct because already two options are correct. Okay, so you don't put D as correct. Or if you think, okay, maybe complementary, this can happen, then you can put as mark. This is tukka. This can go in your favor or not in your favor. Okay, that's it. Then you come to the NAT. In NAT, most silly mistakes happen in NAT. Why? Because answers are not on the screen, and if you make a mistake, screen does not tell you that you are doing a mistake. In MCQ, what happens? Let's say you make some mistake, right? And you go and find your option, and your option is not there, and then you again recheck your calculation, and then you say, oh, okay, this was a mistake. So then you correct this mistake, and then you get the option. But in NAT, this is not there. Now you have, but if you will put that answer. Let's say you are getting 1.02, and you will put that. Okay, you will put 1.02 as an answer, and you don't know if it is correct or wrong. So NAT makes you the most confused. So never do NAT first. Go in the sequence. If you do NAT first, they will confuse you like hell. I'm talking about jam people. Gate students do not have this option. Okay, so NAT will give you get you most confused. Okay, but there are still some symbols in the question that you have to follow, which can actually tell you that this what option you are putting is right or wrong. Number one, write decimal places and integers. Okay, so right, you should read that they are asking up to two decimal places, one decimal place, integer. If nothing is given, then put answer in integer. If they are mentioned one decimal, one. If you are asking in two, two. Then if you are getting negative answer, before putting negative answer, make sure know where it is written, put absolute value or write magnitude or something like that. If it is written, then put positive, convert that negative into positive. In many few questions, answer is negative. Remember that very few questions answer is negative. So before putting a negative answer, think twice, thrice that in nowhere it is mentioned and negative is the only possible answer. Now there is also one possibility. Let's say you are solved the differential equation or something, like some answer is x square equals to 3. So now your answer is x equals to plus minus 3. So put plus 3, don't put minus 3. Even though you think logically minus 3 should also be the right answer, do not try to be a rock star there, just put plus 3. Okay, because otherwise you have to put a answer key challenge. Okay, minus 3 should also be correct, give me the marks, and you don't want to do those things. Plus 3, if it is correct, put plus 3 because that will definitely be in the answer. But if you say minus 3 and then you say logically explaining them, okay, minus 3 should also be correct, that you don't want to do. Why you want to communicate with the jam after the exam is over? Okay, if you have to, you can do it, but uh, my idea is if both plus and minus answers are available, only put plus answer. Don't go for negative answers. Right? Now, what are the informations which are available in NAT questions that give you an idea that your answer is correct or not? Okay, if you are getting a decimal answer, okay, let's say 2 decimal, 3 decimal answers, two up to 2 decimal places, right? Now, let's say you are solving the electronics question and someone asked you what is VCE. Okay, in transistor, right? In transistor, potential across this is VC, and there is some potential applied VC. Okay, and someone asks you what is the potential VCE, and you are getting answer 30, but your VC itself was 10 volts, and there is no other potential applied. You understand my idea? There is no other potential applied, and your answer is getting out to be 30 volt. But the VC, which was applied voltage, was 10 volts. So just try to think the total voltage which is applied to the circuit is 10 volt. Then how come between an element of a circuit 30 volt is dropping? So from where this 20 extra volt is coming? Just think like this, logical thinking. This is called logical thinking. So you will never put 3 volt and then 30 volt, and then when you will recalculate, you will get some different answer, and you will, oh, okay, this was a mistake which I was making. So always think about the physical thing, that is this answer possible? For example, let's say they are asking, they have given the moment of inertia of the steel. Let's say it is 30 kilogram meter square. Okay, and they are asked the moment of inertia of the wood, and you are getting answer 900. So just think, okay, steel movement inertia is 30, wood's movement of inertia may be 60, 70. It will not be 900. Okay, so just think about these things, that whatever answer you are putting and whatever information is given, you don't need to know the exact amounts of movement of inertia beforehand. Just look at the information given in the question and then see that if these are the numbers, then whatever number I have got is actually in accordance with the numbers given, or is it very absurd number which I am getting? Okay, you should not get the absurd numbers. Okay, there are many parameters, there are many informations which you can get from the question. Okay, for example, let's say some graph is given and some values asked, then try to see what is the maximum value of the graph there. And if your answer is more than maximum value given in the graph, then probably your answer is wrong. Okay, let's say you're asked the answer in integer and you are getting answer 22.33, then maybe you have to recheck. Okay, because mostly when the answer is asked in the integer, it is also possible that 22.33 can be the answer and you have to write 22. Very much, it has happened a lot of times. But sometimes, when most of the times what happens is when they ask integer, the answer also comes in integer. More or less you will get to 22.03, but not 33. It is possible you can get, it happens, but less number of times. So think about it. If they are asking the integer, then think ki, okay, your answer should be close to integer. Okay, it should not happen that very far. It can happen, but not more many number of times. Then if you are getting decimal, two decimal places, is answer you are writing, does that make sense? Let's say they are asking what is the speed of the human. Okay, and some question is there, and with what speed Ram should run so that they catch Sham on the track, and you are getting answer 300 km per hour. So can Ram run at 300 km per hour? Do you tell me, can Ram run at 300 km per hour? Maybe Prabhu Shri Ram can run, but not a human being, right? So you have to make sure that these things, whatever answer you are writing, should make sense. Okay, the speed of humans cannot go more than 20-30 meter per second. Not even that. 15-20 meter per second is a very max speed which a human can go. Okay, so these kind of things should be there. Let's say you are given amplitude of the electric field, and your magnitude of the magnetic field is more than electric field. This is not possible. You know the formula for B naught is E naught by C. So whatever answer you are getting should be less than the answer of magnitude of the electric field. So these are the parameters in the NAT which actually tells you that whatever answer you are writing is correct or wrong. So look for those parameters. The ultimate goal is whatever question you are solving, if you are putting that question, then that should get correct. That should not get wrong. You should not go in the many questions got wrong and you are not selected. This is this will be very bad for you. You will not be able to get a good output like this. Okay, so that's why I'm saying be very aware on that day. If you will think each and everything there in the question, you will actually try to make the connections with your answer and the question, with the options, with the graphs, with the previous question, everything. If you can able to think there, then you will make the less mistakes. So this was about how to take the exam. Before I move to the next, I want to make some comments on the gate also, because overall all the strategies are same, but there are few things different for gate people. Okay, so what if you are a gate student? You are a gate student. Now, very first thing, gate has general aptitude. So general aptitude is 1 to 10 questions for 15 marks. I personally think 25 to 30 minutes is good enough time for this general aptitude. Don't go beyond that, don't go less than that. And there should be, I don't think so there should be any question for review, but you can put, if you think there is some question in which calculation is lengthy or something like that is there, let's say counting the number of triangles, okay, and you think, okay, I can count this number of triangles later on, then you can put this as review. Otherwise, in general aptitude, you won't need them to put for anything for mark for review. 25 to 30 minutes, everyone should try to get at least 10 marks in this, but don't go with any target. But 10 marks I think you will be able to score. Do not try to do any question which is tough for you, and do not waste the time on that. Leave the question, but leave the question. Do not try to score all 15 marks. Just solve whatever you can solve. If you're, again, same thing, if you're getting an idea, try to solve. If you fall into some problem, then you know you don't come back to this. If you are success, what to do? So because in general aptitude there is no formulas involved, so as such nothing. Either you will fall in the problem or you will be able to solve the question. That's the only two option in the general aptitude. In 25 to 30 minutes, just do these questions and move forward. Then in 2.5 hour you will have all the questions for the physics. Now in gate, what happen is some question is 1 mark, some question is 2 marks, some question is NAT, some question is MSQ. Now here I have one question for you. Let's say there is a very tough question. Okay, tough MSQ. Okay, all four options you have to calculate. And it is only asked in 1 marks. Only in 1 mark. So is this paper which is asked to you, is it tough paper or easy paper? What do you think? You will categorize this paper into tough paper or easy paper?
Easy.
Easy paper. So tough MCQ was there in which all four options needed to be calculated, and then they only give you 1 mark for that. What do you say? The gate paper that year is tough or easy? Give me the answer. Just what do you think? Yes, tough or easy?
Easy.
Easy. Why easy?
Move forward. Leave this.
Yes, exactly. So it is like a hint for you. If all four options you need to calculate and only 1 mark is there and you are sitting there calculating this, then you are an idiot. Okay, even if it is coming from your favorite topic, put it for review. Okay, in gate there is one additional constraint is there which is not in jam. Some questions will be more time consuming than the output they can give you. Let's say you solve this question entirely and you spend 5 minutes and you get 1 marks. What is the benefit of doing this question even if you know this question? So in gate you also have to leave some of the questions which you know in the first time. You can put for review. You know that there are four questions. There is perturbation theory is involved, then variational principle you have to solve. You first have to find the normal solution, and then all four options you have to calculate something, and then you will be able to solve this, do this question. Leave it. Just put this for review. This is actually easy paper. When the tough questions have the less marks, it means the paper is easy, but the cutoff will go less that year because 99% of the students will fall for that. That is where you should look the challenge. This lesson I learned in 2022 gate. Whenever tough questions are given for the less marks, you should be smart enough to leave those questions even if you think that you can solve these questions. Always look for the more fruitful results. Okay, easy questions 2 marks. Try to look for those questions. And even in 55 questions, let's say 55 questions, right? You think how many 1 marks questions you can leave? You can leave 20 questions. Okay, 21 mark questions you can leave. Okay, and even if you do like 15 20, 2 marks question, you are getting 30 marks. Okay, so always look for 2 marks question which you can do. And if 1 mark question are very tough, leave those questions for the first time. Do not try to do those questions. If those questions are reasonable enough, you need appropriate 2 3 4 minutes for that, do it. Otherwise, put for review for the first time, right? Other than that, all the strategies will be same. One question to 55 question, you have to go into 2.5 hours. And do not try to divide the time. 55 minutes 2.5 hour, it means for each question I have this much time. No, let me tell you, your target is 55 questions, 10 questions, leave it. Then direct, I will leave these questions with no time waste. In 5 minutes I will leave these 10 questions, because you know that in 10 questions you won't know at least. Then divide 45 minutes in rest of the time. Let's say rest of the time is 2 hour 20 minutes. Then divide your 45 minutes and then keep looking at that clock after every, let's do the calculation in numbers. So let's say 2 hour 20 minutes, let's say 140 minutes. Okay, you have 140 minutes, very easy. And you have now 45 questions in your hand. So roughly, it's about 3 minutes something. 3 minutes again you have, right? 40 90, yes, 3 minutes roughly you have. Let's say you have 135 minutes. Okay, you did this 10 questions, leave these 10 questions in 15 minutes. Then you have 135 minutes and 45 questions. 3 minutes you have for each question. Now divide your time. In every 15 minutes, oh sorry, yeah, every 15 minutes, after every 5 questions and 15 minutes, keep looking at the clock just like jam, and review yourself. Relook yourself, that are you on the right pace? Are you doing the questions according to the program which you have thought? What is a program? Again, the same program, right? Am I able to solve the question? Yes, no. Then again, the same repeatable program which I mentioned for the jam, same tips for the MSQ, same tips for the NAT, nothing else. But this thing you should remember that in gates you have to leave some questions also which you don't know. And in gate, what happen is tukkas should be very good. You can make tukkas, okay? In NAT, both I am telling for both gate and jam, if it is NAT and if it is integer, if you think zero can be the possible answer for this, let's say they ask you speed cannot be zero or something like that. If you think zero can be the possible answer, put zero. If you don't think that, then what you do is whatever numbers are given to you in the question, let's say voltage is given, then decide something like 30% of this I will put as answer. Let's say for 15 volt is input and some voltage is asked to you, so put answer 10. Very good chances that you will get a right answer. Okay. And if you don't know nothing about the question, put two as answer. Always put two as answer if you don't know nothing about the question. No numbers are given in the question, it's purely theoretical or something like that. Put two as answer. Let's say energy, so 2 electron volt can be a very reasonable energy. Okay. But if some numbers are given, let's say 15 volt, put something like 30% of that, so 10. Okay. So if 12 is given, just put 8. So these is the reasonable answers which can be correct. And this is I'm saying from the experience. Even if one of such tukka works, 2 marks, 1 marks, which can help you actually, and it takes what, like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. 30% calculating 30% of 15 will take you how much time? 20 seconds, nothing. Okay. So this way you can put the tukkas in NAT. In MCQ, do not put tukka. Do not listen to your brain. If your brain is saying that this option can be correct, do not listen to it. Challenge your brain. Why? Explain me why this is correct. Give me the proper explanation. Give me the reason why it is. Think more, give you the answer. Then you put the answer that, or most of the times what happen is when you think you, oh no, this is wrong actually. B should be correct. And then you put B. So do not listen to your brain instincts in the MCQ question, and just challenge your brain in the MCQs. So overall idea is in the gate, timing is even more important than jam. So how fast you leave the question will depend. So, and I have already mentioned you how you can leave the question. In no clue, leave the question immediately and move forward. Do not try to come back. First idea is to look for at least 20 questions in the exam, solve them very nicely. If you do 20 questions and on average, if there are 1.5 marks for each question, let's say mixed 1 and 2 marks question are there. So let's say average is 1.5 marks, 35 marks you have got, and plus 10 marks if you get there, 45 marks is already there on the screen. Okay. And let's say even more 1 mark question you solved than 2 marks, so even then 40 marks you have done. 40 marks will give you good rank, decent rank will be there, and then from there on you can play on. 20 questions you did right out of 55, then still you have 35 questions to play with. Then play with those questions, but first target is solve at least 20 questions first. 20-25 questions which you can easily solve in a less number of time, which are more fruitful. Okay. Then do those questions. In gate you can actually put at least 15 questions for review. 15 questions if you are moving fast for review. Okay. Because question number of questions are more actually, so you can put many questions for review. And also it is not something which is what you can say, something organized, so you can put more questions for review rather than jam. In different than jam this is. But first try to look for 20 questions, solve them, and then play with the rest of the 35 questions. That will give you better results. One additional and last thing for gate I want to mention. In gate what happen is sometimes many tough questions falls in the one region. So let's say you started solving from one question and going till 10 question, and you are only able to solve 1 or 2 questions. Then it means the beginning of the paper is difficult. Then you do not start the paper from the middle, but start doing the question from the very end, from last 60th question, and come back. That is also okay. You can go from 1 to 60 or 60 to 1, because it is not like jam, right? that first 10 will be easy, then this, because all the questions are uniformly distributed, and there is a computer shuffling is there. So it is not even in the jams, in the gate control, that at which part of the paper which question will come, because it's shuffled, right? Computer can shuffle it in any way. So it is equally good if you, but always do in organized way. Either go from 1 to 55 or come from 55 to 1. Do not start from middle, otherwise you will be confused. Do not start from the middle. Okay, be organized in that paper. That will save at least 5-6 minutes for your time. Okay, if you can save 5-6 minutes, then it will lead to 1 or 2 questions that will lead to 2 to 3 marks. Okay, so time is very important in exam, as important as marks. So this is what I want to say for the exam taking. So any questions still here?
भैया एक क्वेश्चन था
Hmm.
भैया, जब मैं टेस्ट सीरीज देता हूँ तो मतलब काफ़ी मैच्ड हो जाता हूँ कैलकुलेशन में,
Hmm.
तो मतलब नीटली नहीं कर पाता,
Hmm.
इसको
Acha.
कैसे अवॉइड करें?
Okay. So in the exam, you will get a notepad. Okay. You will get a notepad in the exam. Usually when you get messed up in the calculation, it is because you are doing on A4 pages. And there are many A4 pages. So one page goes there, one page goes there, one page goes there. Okay. So in that way, you are looking for the pages where my previous calculation was, or that, like in notepad, this thing is very much reduced. So what you do, you use your notepad, go from question 1 to 16. Whenever you leave any calculations in between, put some symbol there. Let's say ohm symbol, okay, or any symbol you want. Put that symbol that which mentions, let's say ohm question, ohm, and with that you can put 10. So it means at this part of the notebook, I have left my 10th questions calculation because it was going beyond my hand, and I will come back to this later. So put some mark there. And then if some calculation is bothering you too much, okay, or let's say you solve some question, let's say you did the question, some one of my friend used to do this as well. Okay, so let's say you solve the one question, you got the answer, right? You got the answer, you put the answer. What do you do now? Put a cross mark on this calculation. So yeah, whenever you're looking at your notepad, you know this question is now not relevant for me. I have either solved it or left it. Okay, so put a cross mark. So your brain knows I don't need to look at this part of my notepad. So in this way, your calculations will be more organized. So you can put, if you have some problem, you can think of many solutions. One solution is this, one is this. Okay, so these solutions can help you, right? And again, I'm saying, if it is NAT and you think calculations are very tricky and very tough and long calculations are there, 2-3 formulas you have to apply, and it is only giving you 1 mark or 2 mark, then leave that. Okay, leave that. Don't get into that. And secondly, in jam, not in many questions calculations will go hard. There will be hardly 4 or 5 questions in which calculation can go hard. That's it. Okay, any other questions? Anything else till here? सबको समझ आया? Everyone found this useful till here?
भैया
Yes.
हेलो
Yes.
भैया, हमें 1 to 60 हमें जाना है, पर हमें जैसे पहले एक बार क्वेश्चन को रीड आउट करना है या फिर सीरियल वाइज चलते जाना है?
सीरियल वाइज सॉल्व करते जाना है, रीड वीड
नहीं,
नहीं
जैसे
करना है।
आपने कहा ना कि हमें जैसे पता कैसे चलेगा, पहले ये भी तो पता होना चाहिए ना कि कौन सा क्वेश्चन हम जल्दी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, कौन सा नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो वो तो हमें रीड आउट करने से ही पता चलेगा।
नहीं, ये डिसीजन आपको पेपर वाइज नहीं लेना है, क्वेश्चन वाइज लेना है। ठीक है, आपको हर क्वेश्चन में ये डिसाइड करना है कि आप कर सकते हो नहीं कर सकते, फिर आगे बढ़ो। उस क्वेश्चन, हर एक क्वेश्चन आपके लिए पेपर है। आपका पहला पेपर खत्म हो गया पहले क्वेश्चन पे, अब दूसरे पेपर पे आ जाओ। दूसरा पेपर आप बाद में करोगे इसको या नहीं करोगे। So take this decision question wise. Do not take this decision as entirely an exam कि मुझे पूरे एग्जाम में 20 क्वेश्चन ढूंढने, नहीं। पहले क्वेश्चन कर लिया, दूसरा कर लिया, तीसरा कर लिया, चौथा कर लिया, पांचवा कर लिया नहीं किया, पांचवा छठवां किया नहीं किया। तो अगर आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं, ये गेट के लिए मैं ये बोल रहा था कि आपको बढ़ते जाना है। अगर आपको लग रहा है बहुत टफ क्वेश्चन जाएगा, एक ही मार्क है, तो उसको रिव्यू पे डालकर आगे बढ़ जाओ। जब तक आप पूरा एग्जाम कर ना लो और उसमें से आप कम से कम 20-25 क्वेश्चन कर ना लो, फिर आप रिव्यू वाले क्वेश्चन पे वापस आ सकते हो। बट आपको हर एक क्वेश्चन पे डिसीजन लेना है। जितना मर्जी आप डिसीजन ले लो, एंड में आपके पास 25 से 30 मिनट से ज्यादा नहीं बच सकते। कुछ भी कर लो, इससे ज्यादा टाइम नहीं बचेगा। तो 10, 12, 15 क्वेश्चन अगर तुम्हारे रिव्यू पे हैं तो तुम कर सकते हो, इससे ज्यादा नहीं कर पाओ, चाहे तुम जितना मर्जी पेपर रीड कर लो। Okay, so take an exam one by one, question wise. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, so is it useful till here, everyone? Are you enjoying the session?
सर बड़ी मिक्स टाइप फीलिंग्स आ रही है, मतलब उसका क्या करें कि हाँ कहने में तो पता चल रहा है कि हाँ ऐसे कर लेंगे, शांत रहना, लेकिन मतलब चल कुछ और ही सुन रहा है।
Okay, so trust on your brain. Okay, so when you have the information, okay, your brain know how to process it. Okay, uh, because you don't know the situation, you are not in the situation right now, so you don't know the execution, you are not able to think of the execution plan. So this session is about having the information in your mind at the surface of the mind, so that whenever you go in the exam, you have these ideas in the back of your head. And then also, since one mock test I'm giving, try to practice this on the mock test, these ideas on the mock test. Just sit down for 3 hours, try to practice this, and then in the actual exam your brain will automatically be in the auto drive mode. It will take care of all those points which you are listening here. Brain is very powerful, it will take care of all the points you are listening here. You don't have to worry that much. But one thing is, after this session, within 1 or 2 days, 3 days, do the mock test so that you are in the habit of sitting for 3 hours. That's it. Do not get worried by execution, by thinking about the execution. Get a good feeling by knowing the facts, because that is what you can do, that is in your hand. Until unless you are in the actual real problem, you can't think about the execution. I have already executed so many things, so based on that I am putting all the summary and telling you that all these things can happen. So whenever this thing will happen, your brain will automatically give you, okay, this, do that, then you do that. Okay, right?
जैसे कुछ
Yeah.
टॉपिक्स हैं पता है मुझे कि इजी हैं, फॉर्मूले वगैरह भी पता है, लेकिन जैसे मतलब मॉक में मैं क्वेश्चन देखूं तो दिमाग पहले ही मना कर देता है कि इसको तो पढ़ने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, ये नहीं होगा। और
छोड़ दो,
पता है मतलब
that is the level which where you want to reach. Your brain is telling leave it, you only have to leave it. Okay, don't
सीधा ही
but
मना पढ़ने के लिए मना कर देता कि ये इस टॉपिक का है, यहाँ से क्वेश्चन है, तो फिर आगे ऑप्शन कुछ देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, सीधा ही बाहर निकलो।
निकल जाओ। अगर तुम्हारा ब्रेन बोल रहा है कि नहीं, मैं तो थोड़ा बहुत क्वेश्चन रीड कर लेता था, लेकिन इफ योर ब्रेन इज सेइंग डोंट रीड इट, डोंट डिस्टर्ब योर ब्रेन इन द एग्जाम, अदरवाइज योर ब्रेन विल डिस्टर्ब यू। ओके,
सर
सो
रीड करे पता कैसे चलेगा कौन से टॉपिक है, लेकिन मतलब एक जैसे ऐसे ही पहले कि भाई हाँ इजी हो रहा है, फॉर्मूला भी पता है, ज्यादा हार्ड भी नहीं है, क्वेश्चन बन जाएगा अगर बनाया तो, लेकिन पहले ही रिफ्यूज हो जाता है कि हाँ इसको तो करना ही नहीं, ये नहीं होगा, इसको नहीं करना।
नहीं, ऐसा मत करो, इजी क्वेश्चन पढ़ लो एक बार। आई थिंक थोड़ा मॉक में और एक्चुअल एग्जाम में छोड़ने में डिफरेंस भी होता है। ओके,
सर
क्योंकि
फीलिंग
मॉक
फील मतलब मॉक में एग्जाम वाली फील नहीं आती, सीरियसनेस वगैरह उस लेवल पे नहीं रहती कि ठीक है छोड़ रहे हैं तो कोई नहीं, आंसर देख लेंगे उसके बाद में कि कैसे होता है, उसको याद कर लेंगे।
yeah, but now you have to sit for 3 hours for at least one exam, otherwise you will be in the problem। एक एग्जाम के लिए तुम्हें बैठना पड़ेगा, और the exam which I have made, you will not find these questions anywhere। सब क्वेश्चंस नए हैं, न्यू क्वेश्चंस। आई हैव मेड दोस क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम डिफरेंट सोर्सेस। तो ऐसा क्वेश्चन तुम्हें देखा नहीं होगा तुमने। ओके, सो यू हैव टू सिट फॉर 3 hours at least for one paper। any other questions, anyone?
भैया एक और क्वेश्चन।
yeah
हेलो।
yeah tell me। yeah tell me।
जैसे कभी कभार ये होता है कि क्वेश्चन हमने पढ़ा, हमको पता है फॉर्मूला कौन सा अप्लाई होगा, हम पता चल भी जाता है, पर जैसे करते तो बीच में स्टक हो जाता है, या फिर ऐसा होता है कभी कभार फॉर्मूला भी पता है पर हमें ये नहीं पता चलता कि हमें इसको अप्लाई कैसे करना है, तो उस टाइम क्या करना चाहिए? क्वेश्चन ही छोड़ दे या फिर उसको रिव्यू पे डालें?
नहीं, you first thing, क्यों स्टक हो आप, दैट पैरामीटर। ब्रॉडली दो प्रॉब्लम होती है। या तो आप कुछ भूल गए हो डाटा, जो आपको पता है कि यहाँ पे मुझे ये चीज पता होती तो कर लेता। सेकंड, तुम्हें लग रहा है कि ये क्वेश्चन वैसा नहीं था जैसा मैंने जो समझ के स्टार्ट किया था इसको, तो ये थोड़ा सा बियॉन्ड माई स्कोप है, मुझे लग रहा है कि, या मैं पूरा ही भूल चुकी हूँ इसको, अब मुझे पता नहीं क्या करेंगे इसके अंदर, कैसे करेंगे। अगर तुम नहीं सोच पा रही आगे कुछ भी, जैसे ही तुम्हें आइडियाज आने बंद हो जाए क्वेश्चन के लिए, उस क्वेश्चन से आगे बढ़ जाओ। ओके, अगर वो क्वेश्चन फॉर्मूला बेस पे तुमने छोड़ा है, तुम्हें लग रहा है कि कुछ भूल रही हूँ इसलिए छोड़ा है, तो रिव्यू पे डालो। अगर तुम्हें लग रहा है कि नहीं अब ये बियॉन्ड माई स्कोप ऑफ नॉलेज है, तो तुम छोड़ दो। और इतनी टेंशन मत लो रिव्यू और छोड़ने की। मान लो तुमने छोड़ भी दिया, रिव्यू पे नहीं डाला, लेकिन अगर तुम्हें उस क्वेश्चन के रिलेटेड कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन एग्जाम देते देते याद आ गई, तो तुम्हारे एग्जाम को तुम्हारे दिमाग को याद होगा कि ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन है, चाहे तुमने रिव्यू पे डाला या नहीं डाला, तुम फिर भी वापस जा सकती हो। बट द थिंग इज, पुट द क्वेश्चन, जहां पे भी तुम स्टक हुए हो उस क्वेश्चन को रिव्यू पे तभी छोड़ो, या तो कुछ फॉर्मूला तुम भूल गए हो, या तुम आगे कैलकुलेशन को नहीं बढ़ा पा रहे, या फिर तुम्हारे को आइडियाज आने बंद हो गए। जैसे आइडियाज आने बंद हो गए, डू नॉट ट्राई टू हैव आइडियाज लाने की कोशिश मत करो ज्यादा। अगर नेचुरली आ रहे हैं तो करते जाओ, अगर नहीं आ रहे तो उसी वक्त मूव कर जाओ, टाइम बचाना बहुत जरूरी है। ठीक है,
नहीं, कभी कभार होता है जैसे फॉर्मूला भी अप्लाई कर लिया, जैसे मॉक में कभी 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 होता है कि जैसे फॉर्मूला भी सही अप्लाई किया, कैलकुलेशन भी इवन कर ली, पर आंसर मैच नहीं होता है, कभी कभार होता है।
हाँ, जैसे
तो
ही
फिर
आंसर मैच ना हो ना, वो उस क्वेश्चन को क्या करो, उस क्वेश्चन को मार्क फॉर रिव्यू करो। उसमें क्या होता है, तुम्हारा आंसर इसलिए मैच नहीं हो रहा क्योंकि आगे वाले क्वेश्चंस का प्रेशर बहुत ज्यादा है, तुम्हें लग रहा है 30-35 क्वेश्चन है, तुम्हें तुरंत करना है। लेकिन जब तुम उसके ऊपर वापस शांत दिमाग से आते हो ना, तो वो क्वेश्चन 30 सेकंड में, 40 सेकंड में हो जाएगा तुम्हारा। ठीक है, अगर तुमने फॉर्मूला अप्लाई कर लिया, कैलकुलेशन कर ली, लेकिन आंसर मैच नहीं हुआ है, तो ज्यादा टाइम वेस्ट मत करो, मार्क फॉर रिव्यू करके एंड में वापस आ जाना, तुम्हारा 100% वो क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा। ऐसा मोस्टली होता है। ठीक है हिमानी?
हाँ जी भैया।
ओके, ठीक है, तो अब लास्ट के कुछ पॉइंट्स डिस्कस कर लेते हैं। क्या रह गया है हमारा, देखते हैं। तो हमने अप्रोच देख लिया, हमने थिंग्स देख ली क्या करनी है, पहले अटेम्प्ट कैसे करना है, सिली मिस्टेक्स क्या हो सकती है जब तुम एनएटी में डाल रहे हो, तो क्या क्या हो सकता है तुम्हारे साथ। ठीक है, क्या क्या सिली मिस्टेक, और कुछ सिली मिस्टेक्स इफ आई टेल यू, तो कुछ सिली मिस्टेक्स आई विल लाइक टू टेल यू। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सबसे बड़ी सिली मिस्टेक होती है कि बाकी ऑप्शंस को नहीं देखना। आप बाकी ऑप्शंस को नहीं देखें, you didn't saw all other options, and then because of some, you were not able to actually, आपको लग रहा था ए सही है और आपको कंसेप्ट भी पता है, सब पता है, स्टिल यू पुट ए और ए गलत था। when see all other options, then अगर ए गलत होगा तो तुम्हारा ब्रेन विल से ओके ए इज रॉन्ग, you are actually thinking wrong, B is correct, C is correct, or D is correct, something like that. So बाकी ऑप्शंस को ना देखना। other silly mistake can be कि कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक कर देना। कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक हो गया कुछ, आई नो वन गर्ल हु डिड दिस मिस्टेक लास्ट ईयर, राइट? व्हाट इज द आंसर ऑफ 4 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 0? टेल मी। 0, राइट? he she wrote 4. Okay, because of the exam nervousness she wrote 4 multiplied by 0 equals to 4. So these kind of mistakes can happen, so don't make the calculation mistakes. Number third, while putting the answer, you didn't made sure that what was the decimal place, or whatever answer you are putting is actually is beyond the physical limitations, that it cannot happen physically. Other things which can happen is you don't know how to use the calculator in NA, and you are using the calculator wrong. Okay, you are putting radians or degrees, which should be you are putting radians instead of degrees, and you are getting wrong answers. Okay, so you are actually getting 31.2 for radians, okay, answer in the calculator, and you are thinking this is degree answer, and you are putting that answer. So use the calculator before going to the exam, and use the official calculator. Okay, whatever calculation you are doing from now on, let's say you are solving any question for next 7 days, solve those questions on the actual calculator. That's it. That much practice is enough. Okay, then other silly mistakes that can happen is if absolute values are asked and you write the negative answer, right? If let's say magnitude is asked, words like magnitude get missed. Okay, let's say some information is given in the exam paper and which is new question, but you are thinking this is like a previous year question, and you think in that direction only, and you don't exactly give the idea to the you don't actually think about the question and just assume that it is like a last year question, and then you do that question wrong. Other is, uh, very often it happens which of this option is not correct, and you are putting correct options, right? Especially in MSQ this happens, right? So see, if it is not written, usually what they do is they also highlight the note word, not word, if you have seen. But it is also possible they don't do it, so make sure you read the question properly, right? Other option is, let's say in the question they are given that take g equals to 10, right? They are mentioned, and you, so what happens is your question is written like this. So some question will be written and some information will be given. Okay, take h cut as this, g as this. So sometimes what happens is itna question padke you started doing the calculation and you are putting the values of h cut as such. But h cut value they have already given you. They have given in here that take h cut as 1. They have actually given you that take this constant as 1 only. Do not think about that, do not involve this in calculation. But you don't read that, okay, and that is a problem. I have done this quite few times. So see all the parameters that are given and take those values only. If you know mass of electron, even if you know the mass of electron, see what mass of electron they have given you. If they haven't not given you, then use yours. But if they have given you something, use their values. That is another silly mistake which can happen. Other silly mistake, don't thinking about it. Let's say you're putting C as correct answer and you're putting for 7 answer questions. For last 7 question, all of your answers were C. These kind of things do not happen. Okay, so think about it. Whenever things are happening for 3-4 questions, this can happen. In a 4 questions in a row, same option can be a correct, but not more than 4. That is very unlikely. 4 questions it will happen. Sometimes in between, somewhere in between, it will happen that 3-4 questions will have the same option correct. So these are the patterns of the exam which will come. Other silly mistake which can happen actually is ki you many actually what happen is like in MSQ especially this happens, right? Let's say you are so obsessed with the formula that you think this formula is correct, right? For example, del dot j is equals to curly row by curly t, right? But it should be minus curly row by curly t. You put this as correct, but this was wrong. This was wrong. There should be a negative sign. So this is a silly mistake. You knew this formula. So whenever you see the formula, your brain starts thinking that okay, this is the formula only. But think that in your notes, what was the formula? Is this the same formula as that? Okay, your brain will now start saying that this is the formula. Okay, so whenever you are forgetting something and someone gives you something else, and then you start thinking, okay, this is the correct only. So this can also be a silly mistake. Another silly mistake which is very important in MCQ, following your instincts. Instinct will lead you to the bad places in the MCQ. Do not follow your instinct. So all these silly mistakes can happen. Avoid these silly mistakes. Still, I would say whatever you do, whatever you think, at least 2 marks you will lose in silly mistake. Do not worry about those. 2 marks you will lose. Uh, I can take a challenge with you actually. If you lose less than 2 marks, it's very unlikely. At least 2 marks you will lose in some sort of silly mistakes. You knew the question, you did the calculation, and something you did wrong, and you lost the marks. It happens. So this is a limit, but don't go beyond than 2 marks. Okay, 2 marks is enough. That much is okay. You are also human. Okay, and there are so many questions. Somewhere you will make a mistake. Okay, you know the calculation, you knew everything, but you did some calculation wrong, right? Not just numerical calculation, but somewhere you took, let's say you are solving perturbation theory and you did something wrong there. Something can happen. 2 marks you will definitely lose. Don't go beyond that. Okay, and whenever you're solving the mock test or whatever mock test you have already given, if you're making the silly mistake, just try to note that what was that silly mistake you are making, and do not make those mistakes. For every individual, silly mistakes are different, and there is a pattern of silly mistake that human keep on making, that particular human. So remember those and try to avoid those things. Okay, so if you are all agreeing with me, then I will move to the last part of the thing, that what to do after an exam. Okay, should I move or you have any questions still? Okay, should I move forward? Okay. Tell me, should I move forward? हाँ ना बोलो यार, कुछ एनर्जी दिखाओ, इतना क्या थक
ये
गए?
आपने बोला कि पोर्टल देखा जैम और गेट का।
हाँ, yeah, I will do it after this last point. I am coming to that only. Okay. So now let's say your exam is over. You are done 3 hours. Now every individual can have the different idea on that. This is just a suggestion. So last point is just a suggestion from my side. This is according to my personality. Okay. So what I do, straight back to home. No discussion at all. Just tell your parents or your loved ones that this is how my exam went. Most of the times what will happen is you won't know how your exam went. Okay, you won't know that. Come back home, do not look for any solutions. Okay, there will be many memory based questions or anything. Do not look for those. Only look for when your official response key comes, then you look for the answer key and then you calculate your marks if you want to, but do not look for any memory based questions. There are many institutions I can name. There are many evil institutions, I would say. There are many evil institutions. I don't want to take the name here, but very evil institutions. They solve the questions wrong. They just talk to the people. They take the question information wrong and then they solve the question wrong and then the student think that my question went wrong. I remember when I got the gate rank of I think 282, at least 5 marks, because when you are opening the YouTube, right, YouTube will give you the recommendation video and it is very hard to not look at that recommendation video. At least 5 marks they made wrong on that day only. On gate day I got the this recommendation video and at least 5 marks which in the end I got correct, but they were saying it is wrong. So you think the state of the mind I was in. Just after the gate, I had my net exam. I had my IIT exams. I was having my BARC exam coming up. So just think about the mentality, the mental torture this is. So don't do that to yourself. Okay.
जेस्ट की
Do
कट
not.
ऑफ 50 जाने वाला इंस्टीट्यूट।
Yeah. So people do not know actually. I will tell you the most of the coaching institutes I see today, not most, many, they haven't actually qualified the exams themselves or they have qualified long back when the things were different and now they are using that information to give the wrong information. It's not. Do not think about the cutoffs. Not, don't even ask me the cutoff. I don't know what cutoff it will be going, what will be the marks needed for. I can give you the previous year analysis but not this year analysis. What will happen this year I don't know. Okay, so don't do these kind of things. What you should do, you, every time you think that I will not do this, this is not possible, you always have to replace it. If I don't do this, what do I do? Only then you will be able to successfully not do that. So what you do is take 1 or 2 days of break. Take a break. Okay, watch a movie, go with friends, go to your classes, whatever your college classes are going on, sit there, have a refreshment, try to study something new. Okay, something new, some new information. For example, I have given you semiconductor industry, mtech in semiconductor industry. What is semiconductor industry, right? This is a very upcoming industry. You should look for it, some curiosity, some new things, and then immediately after 2 3 days begin your preparation for the just exam. Do not waste your time. If your exam is very nice, still do it. If you are very sure that you will not give the just exam, then only do something else, but start your just and or CUET preparation very begin, very from 2 or 3 days after your exam is done. If you have some college exam or assignments to do, complete those, but begin your preparation just after your 2 or 3 days of your just exam. Okay, I will give you free course of just this year for 1 month, completely free, in which lectures will be there. Only thing is I will give you test series that will be very small paid. I think I am deciding at, okay, let's say 200 300 rupees, something like that, so that only serious students come in, but it is not, it should not be the burden. Okay, and free course of jest will be started. Participate in that, study for the jest. I know how to qualify just in 1 month. I have done it under 100 rank in 1 month. Just exam is very easy to crack. Okay, my IISc admission is also through just exam. So just is the easiest exam. Even if your jam exam or gate exam goes bad, you can cover that up with the just exam. And if you go to my YouTube channel, there is already been a playlist has been made on the just exam. and those lectures are very useful, and I have solved just problems in that questions, pyq questions. So 2-3 days break, new information, fill it your 2-3 days with the life. Okay, don't just sleep, eat, but also life. Look for the new things, go out, go to the park, see some green grass there, some people outside. Okay, some life outside the mobile phone. Okay, see the life, and then after 2-3 days come back with a very strong idea. Even if I qualify the exam, I am going to do very good in just. Even if I don't qualify the exam, I have to do very good in just. That's how life works. Once the first thing is done, move to second thing. Do not keep fixating on the previous thing. Okay, this will happen in the exam, that way leave it. When the result will come, you will get a rank, people will be celebrating you, or you will be celebrating your next endeavor. Okay, that is how the thing. This is my personal idea. You can work on a different basis, but this is my personal idea. Okay, once one thing is done, 2-3 days rest, and then move on to the next thing, because that was not the biggest thing of my life. Okay, that was just the beginning. Everything in my life is just the beginning of the new thing, and next thing is always bigger than the previous thing, even if you fail in that. Okay, do not go back. Okay, never go back. If you do not get an IIT jam, do not go back, drop a year and give the jam again. Go for the next higher thing, even if you fail in the previous thing. Always go for the higher thing, even if you fail. That is how I work. You can work in your. This is just a suggestion. So these are all 5 points which I think should be done. uh, Now, before coming to the question and answer, let me show you the two things. One thing I think I can ignore is actually going to the GATE and JAM actual papers. Okay, you can go by yourself. Go to IIT JAM or GATE website. There will be a live mock test available there. In those mock tests, previous year questions are added. So the questions are not new. So you will already know the questions, but at least have a look at that portal. Okay, look at that portal, solve some of the questions, see how the options works, different NAT options, how to put a numerical answer there, how to use a calculator, all the functions of the calculator, where the time is in there, where the time will come up, what the instructions will come up, how the login will happen. So everything you can look at that, you can do it. There is no need for me to show it. What I can show is how you can get the free mock test, one mock test which you can give, which will be available, which will be live tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And you can give this test anytime till your GATE or JAM exam. Okay, tomorrow at 10 a.m. this will be live, and then afterwards you can give this exam anytime you like. Okay, till your GATE or JAM exam is there, or even after that. Okay, I'm not going to stop that. You can give this exam after that, but there is no benefit of that. Okay, how you can get that, I will just show you the portal. Okay, so let me share my screen and I can show you. So can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so first thing you need to go is to the website tests, tests dot physics by aryan.com. Okay, once you go, some page like this will open up. Okay, here different courses are there and so on and so forth. You go to this courses. The first course is demo tests. So this is for you actually. Even if no student has taken the course as such or paid for the course, you can go to this course as free and you can enter this course. Once you click on this course, something like this will open up where you have to log in. If you already have a login ID and password, for example, my students who are in the course already, so you have that login ID. So log in through this. Do not log in, do not make a new account. Log in through that ID only. Or let's say you have made ID before on this my website, log in through that ID. If you have not made it, you are first time user to this website, then create a new account. It is very easy to create a free new account. Okay, you can make the new account. You need username. You can put username for yourself, some password. Password instructions are given, 8 characters at least. They're very simple as such. Email address, first name, surname, city, town, and your country, and create new account. Okay, your new account will be created and you will be logged in. Okay, so I will only show you how it looks like when you log in. Okay, I am not going to make new account here. You can easily make it. It's a very easy thing. Okay, Once you log in, right? So this is how your demo test will look like. So there is CUET full mathematics test that does not applies to you. You can, if you want, you can give it, but does not implies to you. There is gate and net test. Okay, one is mathematical methods, leave it. Another is gate full test. So you see it will open on 6th February 10 a.m. So you can just go to this and you can just this is, since I am a teacher, here shows edit quiz, but for you it will show attempt the quiz. So you can attempt this quiz, right? Similarly, there is an IIT jam and test. So here it will be full jam test. When you click here, you will see the option of attempt the test and you can attempt the test. And there will be a good amount of questions, not good, just exactly like the jam or exactly like the gate. This test will be after you do the test, uh, below each question there will be a solution available. All the review is available. You can look at that review. You can look at all the solutions and how much you scored, what questions were wrong, what was the correct answer, and all so on and so forth. And any student can give this test as a free. There is no fees for that. Okay, so full jam test will be live and full gate test will be live. You can give whatever you are preparing for, right? There will be not even a one question which is not in the syllabus and I put here, or not even a one irrelevant question. All the questions will be relevant, very much according to the exam pattern, or what kind of question has been asked last year, or what kind of new questions can be asked this year. Because whatever questions comes in TIFR or JEST, you can get a feeling that this year how JEST will put the questions, because there is some reflection of those exams on the jam. It is not easy for aspirants to find that, but I can easily look at every year some questions come in JEST and then similar kind of questions next year come in the jam. So all this information has been in the mock test. Just give that test. That will be very useful for you. Okay, once your test is done, I will be able to see your scores also, and it will not be disclosed with anyone else. It will only remain with you and with me. Okay, I can see that. Other than me, no one else can see your scores and your attempt. Okay, if you find any difficulty in this entire process, message me on Telegram with the exact thing that what is a problem that you are getting. I will able to solve your problem. Other than that, if you have any other questions also before the preparation, that you are finding this problem, that problem, you can feel free to message me on the Telegram, right? And keep join the Telegram channel. But you can message me also, and you can message in the discussion group also. I will be happy to answer you. Okay, so any questions you have now, I can ask. Okay, so this is the end of the session. This session you can also see on the YouTube. Okay, now I will take the live Q&A session.